So we have an interesting question that we're going to be reacting to today. What if Dagon never died? Or Dagon, however you want to say his name. I say Dagon. What if Dagon never died? Would he still be king of the monsters today? Also, who is Dagon? You know what I'm saying? Is he Godzilla's dad? Is he an ancestor of Godzilla? Brother, who is Dagon? Because watch this. I even said he was his dad in one of my videos and people are losing their mind. But if you do this little number right here on Google and type in who is Dagon Godzilla, just type it in Godzilla so they know. Okay, here, what does that say? Dagon is a Titan and Godzilla's father and Godzilla Lord of the Galaxy. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? What's that mean? Now I know what you might be thinking. That was a made-up series, I'm pretty sure. But listen, it is what it is. It was on Google anyway. Shout out to Goji Guy. We're going to be reacting to his video, What If Dagon Never Died? Let's get to it.
3,125
Let's see who
years
Dagon
ago,
was.
the
Maybe
11th
he
century
explains.
BCE. An epic battle of titanic proportions.
Because I've got a couple views of it.
An ancient titan is fighting against a beast known as the Muto Prime. Their blows shake the earth itself. While these kaiju amass in fighting skill, Dagon just can't seem to land any good hits or get into a tempo.
Pretty sure he was the king of monsters at one time.
Dagon uses a different technique. Dagon slams against the Prime and holds her
At
back,
least what we do know for sure is that he is Godzilla's ancestor.
And once he has a chance, he fires it out. His beam blasts.
Let me know what you know about him in the comments.
Pushing her back, and in the process, pushing himself away. Dagon keeps firing it, slowly stepping back while his beam further slides.
I always love Goji Guy's explanations, storyline.
Used up, he is about 500 meters away, right near the shoreline. Dagon quickly turns around and runs as fast as he can. As he runs, the Prime uses her sonic screech and shatters his dorsals. He falls in agonizing pain, but he pushes through it, knowing he'll die if he stays down.
Savage.
In the universe you know, Dagon keeps fighting with all his might, but it just wasn't enough. But here, in this timeline, Dagon plays smarter, not harder, executing a tactical retreat. Today we're altering the timeline.
Oh, so that's when Dagon died, I guess?
As to keep Dagon alive to the modern day. What will happen to the other kaiju in the monsterverse? Will the Muto cease to exist? And most importantly,
guys, if you haven't yet, scroll down for me, hit that subscribe button.
Goji Guy, and today we're here to ask.
Sorry, Goji, subscribe to Goji as well. You guys, if you know, you know. Subscribe to my boy Goji. Goji Guy presents. Oh, I love these intros of Goji Guys, dude. In the little What If series, these are sick.
Space.
It always reminds me of like the Avengers and stuff like that. Oh well. That's what it's made to be, I'm pretty sure. It's sick.
It's a seismic rift.
And like I said, teach me in the comments, bro. Like I said, I don't know a lot about Dagon, whatever you want to call it.
Where a single roar can ripple out.
Teach me some things. I'd like to know. I'd like to know.
Spawning alternate worlds alongside the ones you
Let's go, Goji! That always gets me so hyped.
I am the Overlord.
Okay.
I am your guide through these vast, chaotic realms. Follow me.
We will.
Ponder this question.
What if?
What if?
Beautiful. Let's get to it. Shout out Goji again. Shout out to my boy.
Again, hello everyone, it's your host Goji Guy, and firstly, happy 2025. Hope you all had a great 2024. With that being said, we're in the last 24-ish hours of the fundraiser Gifts from Goji. Now, did we reach our goal? No. But with that being said,
still did really good though.
We have raised almost $5,000.
I donate some money to the cause, and if you did too, we appreciate you, bro.
Donated and shared it around. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Your donations may single-handedly save a life. And with that out of the way, let's get back to the what if. In the universe you know, Dagon loses against the Prime and gets implanted with the Muto eggs, causing his death. But what if he didn't die? Crazy. What if he ran away? Let's dive in. Dagon flees, having to swallow his pride in doing so. Little does he know, this action just saved him from a long, painful death. The Prime stands up, her chest scorched from a prolonged exposure to the atomic breath.
Prime is crazy.
But she quickly digs into the ground and leaves.
Looks like a transformer in the face.
The Prime is on a search to lay her eggs, and luckily she finds a host. She finds a young kaiju wandering around what will later be Chile. He is furry, with 2 long tusks starting to grow.
I don't know who that is.
He's only a few million years old at the time.
I gotta start reading some
comics. The Prime stalks her prey, and when he's fully distracted, she strikes. The Prime sticks her ovipositors into his chest, implanting 2 eggs, and she quickly gets up and leaves. The kaiju having no idea what just happened, but soon enough, he will. The year is 1998. The people of Brazil are having a good time. Parties on the beach, bustling in the streets, and much more. That's when it starts.
Probably not going to be good for long.
Shakes, not like an earthquake. Rather, as if something incredibly heavy is walking their way. That's when the screaming begins. People look up to the mountains in horror. A huge animal, no, a titan climbs over. It's Behemoth. Behemoth stands.
Hopefully he doesn't get bodied. Please.
Behemoth's chest tears open as 2 hideous creatures fall out of it and start running away, both running down the mountain. People are crushed, buildings are destroyed, and streets are wiped away.
It was
These two beasts
Behemoth?
quickly make it to the shore and swim to safety.
Of course it
the
was!
world is in shock, as this is the first sighting of what an organization
If you
called
guys know,
Monarch
you guys
refers
know.
to as a Titan. Massive
Always
creatures that the
getting
world
bodied.
can't explain.
It's Behemoth.
The countries around the world have their militaries ready for what's next.
Why
But
is it
that's the
always
interesting
him?
thing. Nothing happens.
Come on.
Weeks, months, even years go by. Nothing. No sight of those freakish beasts that crawled down the mountain.
They're growing.
The world goes back to a calm state.
They're getting some power. They know.
Everyone, good guy popping in here. Just a heads up. After this, we're pretty much assuming G14 played out the exact same way it did.
Okay.
I guess just imagine the Mutos, but slightly furry, and boom. That's what happens next. So,
All right.
Yeah. Subscribe if you're liking the story so far, and let's move on. The year is 2015. Godzilla is drawn to an energy source, making his way to Japan, specifically the Onigawa nuclear power plant, an extremely powerful and dangerous power plant, one that's always been on his radar if he were to ever need an extra boost of radiation. Though the reason he's headed there isn't because he needs a boost. Rather, he can feel his power draining away. Once arriving on shore, Godzilla is met with flames and alarms. The plant is almost entirely destroyed. Helicopters and buses are fleeing, while others are desperately trying to get away. Godzilla puffs steam out of his nose.
I
ready
love
to battle
these little
whoever did this.
explanations of
And
the
that's when he
story. I'm
sees
just
her.
playing it in
Through
my
the black
mind.
smoke, he sees bright orange eyes looking back at him. The Muto Prime is here. Gathering
Prime
radiation
is
to lay
here?
more eggs. Godzilla recognizes her from millions of years ago. Their species almost having entirely wiped each other out. Godzilla knows that if he can take her out,
How
his
can you
species will win
remember
the
something
war.
from millions
he
of
roars
years
and
ago?
charges the Prime doing the same. Godzilla is strong.
I remember
but
what
due
I
to
had
being
for
in his
breakfast.
Garagochi form, he's in quite powerful
I didn't
enough.
have anything.
They clash, shaking the ground around them and causing a sonic boom. Godzilla slashes the Prime, cutting her arm. The Prime, wanting to get these eggs laid ASAP, quickly gets the upper hand in the battle, using her massive arms to easily overpower and shove Godzilla to the ground. Godzilla fires his beam at her chest and pushes her away. But she's learned to block the Gogeta beams.
Starting to
Taking her
sound
from
like Dagon.
She uses her sonic roar, being able to disrupt Godzilla's beam, having it disperse. And by the time it hits her, it's no more than fire. Godzilla gets up but is again slammed into the ground. He can't catch a break. He fires his beam again, but no luck. She once again roars to
Boys
his
get
beam,
bodied.
and this time causes serious damage to his dorsals. She roars again, and again, and again. Godzilla can barely keep his eyes open, and his dorsals are gone, leaving huge holes in his back. Godzilla is hopeless. The Prime is ready for the killing blow. That's when, from the left, out of nowhere, an atomic
Dagon!
beam is blasted into the Prime's side, sending her tumbling away. Godzilla looks over and is shocked to see Dagon? Godzilla, in terms of the Titanus Gogeta specimen, is pretty young, while Dagon is an elder. Not only is he an elder Gogeta, he was one of the main powerhouses back in the day, against the Mutos, when the Gogeta-Muto War took place. Though, he looks different. Unlike the sharp spikes he once had, they've been replaced with longer, more artistic dorsals.
Ooh,
Dagon
I like
charges
that.
her and bites and slashes at the open wound. The Prime roars in pain.
He's been
pleading
around for a
mercy,
while.
but her cries fall on deaf ears. Dagon is quickly able to open her chest and beams right through her, frying her and killing her in moments. Dagon walks over to Godzilla.
That's much
still
better. That's
around.
more like
Godzilla
it.
smiles and starts to get up. That's when
He said,
Dagon
nah.
slams his foot into Godzilla's chest. Godzilla roaring in pain. Dagon looks at Godzilla with disgust. Godzilla lifts his arm, but Dagon slams it down with his tail. Dagon roars at Godzilla. Helpless and on the brink of death, he takes his foot off of Godzilla. Goji rises to his feet and then kneels, lowering his head, knowing he has no choice but to bow to his new king.
Wow.
Dagon is now filled
Godzilla
with pride
bowing is
and
crazy.
orders Godzilla to follow him. They make their way into the sea, and over the next few months, Dagon and Godzilla attack unprovoked, taking nuclear energy and leveling
King of
cities
monsters,
one after
babe.
another. That's when one man gets an idea to stop them. Alan Jonah, an eco-terrorist, infiltrates a Monarch outpost and
Here we
steals
go
the
with this
Orca,
man.
a device that can lure and control kaiju. With this in his hand, he quickly awakens the Titan to see what kind of firepower they'll need going forward. Breaking out of a massive volcano, Rodan, the fire demon, is awakened. Using the Orca, he lures Godzilla and Dagon over to Rodan. This is where the fun begins. Godzilla and Dagon arrive to Isla Del Mara. Godzilla now having regrown his dorsals, similar to Dagon. The place is in chaos. They look around for
That
who
would look
called them, but they don't
sick,
see
dude, with the
anyone.
longer
That's when
spikes.
they hear a roar. Rodan comes flying down to attack, but before he can even get close, the two Gogeta fire their atomic breaths right at him, causing Rodan to explode in the
How
sky.
OP is that?
Lava
Basically
raining
having
down.
two Godzillas.
Jonah and Monarch are stunned. They didn't even give Rodan a chance. Dagon has manipulated Godzilla, and together are now an unstoppable force. Monarch and Alan Jonah
Pretty unstoppable,
both have their
I'd
own
say.
plans and put them into motion. Alan and his team quickly head to the Arctic.
What are they
break
gonna
into another
create?
Monarch outpost and quickly clear the place out. There's only one Titan that stands a chance against these two beasts. Monster
Ghidorah?
Zero, an alien from another world, who according
still
to
saying
Monarch,
no.
fought Godzilla many years ago. They dig around Ghidorah and scan his entire body.
I like Ghidorah,
Once they
he's
have all the
cool,
angles
but-
and images, they fuse them all together.
Not
ready to
against
launch
two.
Project AC. Using the scans, they quickly design a model of Ghidorah, which is their only hope, to force Ghidorah into doing his alpha call. They set bombs on Ghidorah and detonate. Everything
Oh, I thought that
goes
meant they were about
quiet.
to make
Then
the Mecha
it
Ghidorah.
starts. A huge storm materializes out of thin air. as the one who has many is awake. Ghidorah roars, but before he can take flight,
Hey, that's a sick model.
Shock. A huge Ghidorah stands before him, much larger than himself.
Wait,
Red horns
what?
and black scales covering his body. Little does Ghidorah know this is all a fake. Using the model, the team quickly made what they believe what could possibly be an older version of Ghidorah. Using holograms in the Orca,
It's a
they're able to
hologram,
scare
got
Ghidorah
it.
into submission. Using the Orca, they make Ghidorah rise to his feet and tell him to do his alpha call. Ghidorah, being scared, obliges, standing strong and roaring with all he's got. Ghidorah awakens the kaiju.
I mean,
around
I'd
the
be
world,
scared too,
but
I
this
ain't gonna
time
lie.
adds a new command: hunt down
I'd be scared
Godzilla
in any of
and
this.
Dagon. Once Ghidorah is done, he himself flees to track down Godzilla. Alan and his team are the first humans to ever successfully control the devil with 3 heads. They pack up their bags and quickly head to safety, far from all the kaiju. Over the span of the next few days, Godzilla and Dagon fight kaiju after kaiju, but none are able to match their power. Tiamat, atomized. Abaddon,
Yeah,
stumped
I mean,
out.
everybody
And the
would get
Muto
obliterated.
Queen, the last of the Muto species, well, she had a special death. Dagon went out of his way to make sure her death was especially cruel.
Oh, no.
Snapping off one of her own legs and proceeding to stab it through her body, pinning her to the ground. He slowly and
Dang,
methodically
I mean,
snaps
I
off
guess
and
that
breaks
makes sense.
every single one of her legs, one after
She
the
was
other,
the queen.
staying alive for the entire
Gotta make it
process.
crazy.
Dagon then ends her by slowly pushing the weight of his own body onto her head with his foot, slowly
Oh my-
crushing her skull.
Dang.
Godzilla watches from afar, and while
That's
he'll continue
gruesome.
to serve Dagon, he starts to
I
ponder
like
if
it.
what they're doing is wrong. I mean, he's had to kill his own friends, and Dagon is too cocky and takes too much pleasure in his kills. That's when the clouds darken, and it starts to rain.
here we go
Dagon
with
and Godzilla
Ghidorah.
look up, yellow lightning inbound. Godzilla knows what this means. Dagon, however, has no history with Ghidorah. He lands, Ghidorah roaring. Standing up, he towers over the Gojidas. Godzilla, knowing how powerful he is quite intimidated.
It's a big
While Dagon
kaiju,
couldn't care
big
less.
monster.
They charge into each other, the Gojidas winning the class due to their weight. Ghidorah stands up and covers his head as a beam comes his way. His wing gets torn up, but is still alive. Ghidorah grabs onto Dagon and throws him into Godzilla. Dagon now
That
understands
battle
what
was
they're facing
sick.
against. He roars at Godzilla, giving him a plan. While Ghidorah can regenerate with great speeds, if you blow up his chest, he's dead. Godzilla is told to go to Ghidorah's side, while Dagon stays put. Ghidorah stands, waiting for an attack, with Dagon standing in front of him and Godzilla off to the side.
Somebody
Dagon
else is
charges his
playing this
dorsals
all
and
out,
fires
never
a
mind.
beam. Ghidorah puts his wings up ready to take the blow,
Something locked in.
but it never comes. That's when, before it lands, Ghidorah is able to look up and see what's happening. Dagon shoots his beam, and right before it hits Ghidorah, Godzilla uses a radiation absorption to pull the beam toward himself and curves the beam around Ghidorah, blasting it into his side, which is now
Oh?
unprotected. The beam, being further magnified by Godzilla, does immense damage to Ghidorah. He falls,
That's
a
a
large
sick
portion of his
move.
chest gone. Godzilla runs over and jumps onto Ghidorah. Dagon gets there too, and together they vaporize all 3 heads with a single blow.
Dang.
The kaiju roar victorious, when suddenly, a bright light breaks through the storm. Mothra lands on the
Mothra!
ground. She chirps at Godzilla, coming to say hello, but before Godzilla has a chance to say anything, Dagon fires a beam right at Mothra,
I knew
breaking
it,
a large
dude.
part of her wing.
No!
Godzilla, shocked and enraged, jumps onto Dagon, trying to stop him, roaring at Mothra to run. She takes flight and runs away. Dagon is infuriated. He quickly overpowers Godzilla and starts beating the ever-living out of him,
Yeah.
breaking off a dorsal, snapping part of his lower jaw, and breaking his hand.
Oof.
Godzilla either dies or bows, and Godzilla, knowing he can't win, bows once more, now fully pledging himself to Dagon. And from that moment on, he will never, ever disobey Dagon again. Mothra lands hundreds of
That's
miles
crazy.
away.
At least
She is
Mothra got
exhausted
away.
and out of energy. Her wing has taken severe damage. She puts some silk on it to keep it from bleeding, but then she hears it. Godzilla. No, something like Godzilla, but something is off. She peers her head above the trees and sees him. A mechanized version of Godzilla, or as we know him, Mecha Godzilla.
Mecha G?
She's terrified for her life. Mecha Godzilla rushing her way. This is it, she thinks, but it stops right before her. She looks up, and the mecha starts to apply a healing agent to Mothra. Mecha lifts her up and carries her away, taking her to Outpost 61.
My boy
Over the
Goji
past
needs
few
to make a
years,
movie. I'd
Monarch
watch
partnered up
this.
with Shout Industries to build Mecha Godzilla. Along with that, they made great advancements with cybernetic enhancements. Mecha Godzilla very gently puts a collar onto Mothra so that Monarch can communicate with her and ask for her help, as Mothra is the only one who can put a stop to Dagon's madness. Putting it
Interesting.
on, she
A
learns that
collar
Monarch wants
on
to help her
Mothra?
and use her as a weapon. Mothra is hesitant at first, but ultimately complies, as she knows it to be true. She also knows they can help her and help heal her injured wing. Monarch is happy to reveal their newest toy to Mothra, the Lethal Enhancement Optimization, or as they call it, Project Leo. This modification will buff Mothra like never seen before in the monsterverse.
Sick.
She's covered head to stinger and plated titanium,
Woo!
but only a light layer, as she still needs to be able to get airborne. She's modified with boosters to allow her to increase her speed but they only last for a little bit. Her wings are covered in speakers. Those will come into
Yo,
play
this
later.
would be so sick if he
Along with
made like a
this,
full
she is
animation.
super drugged up.
Obviously.
Granting her better stamina, strength, focus,
An
and
animation
faster
out of this story
reflexes.
would be sick.
And overall, she is just much more menacing than she once was. Along with all that, she's been given all sorts of new beams included into her suit. After some time to regain her energy and regenerate her wing, Mothra is ready for battle. Together, Mechagodzilla and Mothra head to confront the
Mechagodzilla and
rogue
Mothra teaming up. Who would have thought?
Hello
Who would have
everybody,
thought?
this is your intermission, so make sure to go grab a drink or stretch. I just want to say, if you're enjoying the video, check
Will
out my
do.
other what ifs, and consider subscribing if you're liking this video so far. Mothra and
Back to
Mechagodzilla
it,
head to
though.
Mount Fuji.
Back to it.
This gives them plenty of space to throw down, but also allows them to see where the Godzillas are coming from. Once Mothra and Mecha arrive, Mechagodzilla uses built-in Orca Sigma to lure the Gojira in. The Gojira hear the call and aren't too far away, being right near Mount Piktu in North Korea.
The
They
Alpha
beeline to Fuji.
signal. Here we
After
go.
30 minutes, give or take, Mothra and Mecha hear their footsteps. They quickly go to the other side of Mount Fuji and see them. Dagon and Godzilla running at them, full speed. Mechagodzilla and Mothra attack. Mecha fires his beam, Godzilla being quick to fire his back. While they're stuck in a beam clash, Mothra
Mechagodzilla's
flies towards
body and
Dagon,
Godzilla, I'm
using
sorry.
her God rays
Sure.
to blind him and send him tumbling
If it's a
back.
1v.
Dagon, on the ground, quickly gets back up and fires a beam right into Mothra.
We've already seen it.
Mothra falls. While the titanium exoskeleton helps greatly, this is an atomic breath we're talking about, so it can only take so many more hits before the armor is futile. With Mothra down, Dagon charges Mechagodzilla, still locked in a beam clash. Mecha shoots his missiles toward Dagon, but Dagon plows through them and body slams into Mecha.
Yeah,
Dagon
he's
and
a
Godzilla together
savage.
tear through
Dagon
Mecha,
would be different.
ripping him apart with ease. Mothra tries to get up to help Mecha, but it's too late. Mechagodzilla is seconds away from death. Dr. Serizawa at the wheel, piloting Mechagodzilla from afar. And with Mecha's death being inevitable, Serizawa launches Weapon X, a super weapon, if you will. Being a mixture of
Weapon
blinding
X?
lights, EMPs, sonic roars, and it ends off with an explosion from the test weapon NDD.
Okay.
Or the neural deception device.
Sick.
It attacks a kaiju's brain, causing them to hallucinate their greatest fears.
Ooh.
Mechagodzilla finally implodes, sending the Gojiras tumbling back. Mothra is ready for battle as the two Gojiras rise up. Though something's off. They're acting weird, scared even. Little to Mothra's knowledge, the two Gojiras don't see Mothra in front of them. Rather, they see the Titan that ate a star. A huge Godzilla-like kaiju with wings made of space crystals.
Who is
or
that?
what the Gojira know as the Crystal King. Godzilla is frozen. in
Space
fear,
Godzilla?
While
Or
Dagon,
no?
being the older
The
and wiser
Crystal
kaiju,
King.
quickly snaps out of it. Or at least knows what he's seen isn't real. Dagon charges his beam and fires at Mothra.
I ain't never heard of that one.
But due to the EMP, it's nowhere near as strong as it was moments ago. Mothra dodges most of the beam, and she fires back with her own beam, the cross heat laser. Firing from a gem found on Mothra's forehead, Mothra is now able to pretty much condense her god rays down to a single beam.
Nice.
She fires back, quickly overpowering Dagon's beam. Dagon quickly gets up and slams into Godzilla, snapping him out of his trance. Godzilla and Dagon rise up together and fire their beams. While one at a time they aren't too much of a concern, two is a different
Two
story.
together would be
That's when
nice.
Monarch takes over and uses the speakers in Mothra's wings. Using said speakers, they have replicated the Muto Prime's roar, but
Ooh,
increases power 40
solid.
times over. The blast of the sound
She's
sends
gotta
Mothra
help, big
blasting
fella.
back, while the Gojiras fall to the ground. Their beams being diffused and sent in every direction, and the sound almost completely destroys the
So
dorsals
Muto
of both
Prime
Godzilla
is just
and
their
Dagon.
weakness.
Mothra rises up, her metallic wings damaged beyond recognition. While the speakers helped a lot, due to their power, it can only be shot once, as it would destroy itself in the process. All three
Well,
of the kaiju
not if
are
it can
tired
only be shot once. That's
before
not
Mothra
good.
can get up, Dagon slams his foot onto her thorax, crushing her stinger and some of her internal organs.
Mm.
Mothra screams in pain. Dagon is fed up. Just the idea of losing to a moth infuriates him. Dagon charges his beam, his back spewing out radiation as he has no dorsals left. But he doesn't care. And right as the beam leaves his mouth,
Godzilla hit him off again?
Godzilla charges in and slams his elder to the ground. Dagon is down. Godzilla doesn't hold back, and he balls his hand into a fist and goes ham on Dagon.
Okay, Godzilla.
Right, left, right.
Yeah. Okay, Godzilla.
Godzilla has been building up resentment towards Dagon for the past few years. He comes in, steals his kill, steals his crown, humiliates him, turns him into a slave forced to do his bidding,
Wow.
and kills his own allies. Godzilla is fed up. Mothra watches in horror. By the time Godzilla is done, Dagon's skull has been reduced to dust, as if his head was
Wow.
cropped off of his body. Godzilla wobbly stands up, smiles at Mothra, and falls down beside Dagon. Due to his injuries from the fight, Godzilla is on the brink of death. Mothra quickly shoots webbing over Godzilla's back to block the bleeding, and Monarch quickly puts them both to sleep.
What a
to heal them up
beautiful
that day.
story.
So, in the end, Dagon is dead. His tyrant rule has been stopped, and Project Mothra Leo was a success. Monarch is now ready for anything that comes their way in the future. And they'll need to be, because trust me, this story has only begun.
It
Thank you
keeps
all
going.
so much for watching.
Well, it doesn't keep going for today, but that was sick, bro. Shout out to Goji, man. I played that entire thing out in my head. I really want to see that movie. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video, though. Thank you for watching with me. I love ya. Goodbye.